Land is very fundamental in any massive infrastructure project like this. And in Ghana, we say there is no land without an owner. So if you know a thing or two about land ownership in Ghana, you will know that some lands are owned by the state, some by traditional customary authorities. For state lands or public lands, it means the government has gone through processes to acquire the land because originally every land was under a traditional or customary owner. So for state land, the state goes through a process by activating its power of eminent domain as provided for under Article 20 of the 1992 Constitution. And once that process has been completed, the land becomes an asset of the state. Then there are lands which are also still under traditional authorities. In the southern part, they are likely to be called stew lands or family lands or clan lands in some areas. And in the northern parts, skin lands, as it were. So for the selected area of Jomoro, land in this area is customary land to begin with, and it's under the stew, which is the Western Nzema stew. So for the states to obtain or have access to this land, the law provides a clear sort of pathway as to what has to be done in order to basically transfer the land from being under a customary authority to something that is owned by the state so that the state can put it into a use which is, as defined by the Constitution, public interest. Now, the Petroleum Hub project is something of public interest, and so it passes that test. So the state has been going through the processes as laid by law so that the land would come under the ambit of the state so that the Petroleum Hub Development Corporation can have an added comfort dealing with the investor right. And one important thing is that the Constitution and subsequently the enabling legislation, which is the Land Act of 2020, both require that if the state is acquiring any land, there must be the payment of fair, prompt, and adequate compensation to all the affected parties. For communities like Jomoro, where we are operating, land is basically life. They depend on land for farming, food, and everything. So once you take in their land, and 20,000 acres is quite a sizable amount of land, then the people, issues of livelihood and things like that could come in. And so it is a must that we pay reasonable compensation, which would enable the people to, as it were, have some sort of compensation, some sort of respite for their land which is being taken for them. Of course, a lot of them may end up getting decent job in the project, but once they are taking their land, then you need to pay for that. And that we've done extensive work, aligning the process with relevant laws and legislations. And very soon, we will finalize the land so that the land becomes that of the state. The necessary executive instruments will be published, and then compensation would be paid to the people. And I have been firmly assured by relevant leaders of the project that funds will not be difficult in this context. And so all the assessed compensation will be paid fairly, promptly, and adequately as required under the Constitution.